season of Arsenal Fan Circle. It's been a busy preseason, and we start the season off with a win. Everybody, let's be happy about this. Alex and Andrew, welcome to the pod.
Thank you. Welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you, Ray, for
Yeah.
Is this my first time on your channel?
No, I was going to say viewers may recognize Alex.
Yeah, second time.
But Andrew is new to this channel. Although we did have a phone out interview a few weeks ago, Andrew. So the viewers may have heard that episode. So I'm just going to give you a moment to promote your own stuff, Andrew. So tell the viewers what you've been up to lately, what you started out doing.
Got the channel and podcast called From Dial Square to Where, and it's purposely very different. It's literally just my ramblings, really, about everything that I see that catches my eye on Arsenal Twitter, which provides an awful lot of content. Let's face it, there's some very interesting characters on Arsenal Twitter, but a lot of very good, knowledgeable ones as well. So I just really expand. There's only so much you can put on a Twitter, tweet, if you like. So with 280 characters, so I just expand my thoughts on certain things that catch my eye, really, and sort of intersperse it with a few random things from that make me happy. So
yeah, and for me, Andrew, some nostalgic things like some bits of music in here that will tie nostalgia from previous shows that have gone off the air now that we all know.
Yeah, like from the 80s and 90s when I was a kid, like, maybe a bit of the 18, bit of Monkey Magic, all that. That's good. That's what I like.
There you go. That's my era.
Yeah, it's
Monkey Magic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going all right. I really enjoy doing it. That's the main thing. It's something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. I've got a blog as well under the same name, From Dial Square to Where, which I need to, which I only just started. I've got a couple of posts on there, but I enjoy writing as well about the club I love. So hopefully it's going to get a lot more busy and people enjoy what I do.
So everybody who's tuned in and will be watching on playback, check out Andrew. From Dial Square to Where.
That's right. Yeah. On Twitter, it's at From Dial Square, and I regularly put links to the podcast and the YouTube channel on there. So
check his stuff out. If you like it, subscribe, drop a comment, and hit that like button and share the content. Alex, we know a little bit more about you. Tell us a little something about your channel.
Well, we have a greater presence on YouTube rather than on Twitter. We don't do too much on Twitter, but we just got 2,600 subscribers over a year and a half, and basically we've got 3 segments which comes out on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday, where we don't take ourselves too serious. There's lots of jokes and laughter, but it's mainly about like Andrew said, the club that we love so much, which is Arsenal. I've been a Arsenal supporter since 1977, so not long.
Andrew, when did you start supporting the Arsenal?
At the tender age of 7, when I was in 1980. I come from a family of no one liked football, so I'm the odd one out. I'm a black sheep in many ways within my family, to be perfectly honest. But first match I ever saw in its entirety was the cup final in 1980 when we lost to West Ham. And I've been in love with the club ever since. So I've been a former season ticket holder at Highbury. I left the country for about two and a half years, and gave up my season ticket at that point. But then joined the waiting list and got invited down to choose my seat down at the Emirates. But when I was back in the UK, but my life had completely changed. And as you can tell by my screen name, I live in Hinckley in Leicestershire. I've got 3 kids now, and it's very difficult to get down there. It's extremely expensive to get down there now. It's nothing like it used to be back at Highbury, and it's something that's got to be done about that, really. That's probably a whole other podcast, but it's very difficult for me to get down there. I went to the Emirates Cup the other day, and my 3 boys came with me. They're all Arsenal fans, which I'm really, really pleased about, but they love the club as well. It's the next generation Arsenal fans, and they're always asking me to go down to see the matches. But it's very difficult, as you all know, to get tickets nowadays. If you're, if you haven't got a season ticket, it's pretty much full every single game. So we try and get down there as many times as possible. But yeah, the love of the club will never die, and I'm very, very happy that I say that the three boys love the club as much as I do.
Yeah. So before we get into the game today, let's just touch on that point, Andrew. I'm very excited for the business we did this summer, and we need to recruit younger kids to love the club. You know, we were going to miss out. I was afraid we were going to miss out on a generation that they would follow Manchester City and Liverpool, but it seems like our club is being run in a more proficient way.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, sorry, go on. I beg your pardon.
No, I mean, Ray, you're saying we need to probably buy in more youngsters, but we've got a rich group or pool of youngsters already there. They've been waiting. They've been knocking on the door. They've been trying to break down the door, and it was good to see that Willock had a really good preseason. Saka and Ketia, although I'm not sure why we've put him out on loan to Leeds, because I think, like I've always said, what happens if one of our main strikers gets injured? I think Zet got injured, didn't he? So we needed Nketiah to be part of the main squad. But I'm very, very hopeful for the new season. And like I said, it's good to see a lot of the youngsters getting some game time. I'm also very excited about Gabriel Martinelli. For me, he comes on, he brings like an extra energy that is very reminiscent of Alexis Sanchez. But yeah, the future's bright. The future's red and white with the youngsters coming through. But we've got the pool of youngsters there. It's just for Emery to try and find the right combination with the mixture of experience and the youth coming through. But yeah, Willock, Saka, and Ketia. I'm very, very happy. Very, very happy, man.
Andrew, what's your takeaway from the game today with the win?
Well, very happy overall to get 3 points at the beginning of the season, which we very, very rarely do, away from home, and a team that's been reinvigorated that we were playing against with their new signings who looked pretty lively. And to get away with the 3 points and a clean sheet this time is fantastic. I don't think there's a lot to be concerned about. I'm really, really happy that Willock started, but I'm very loath to criticise this match at all. But the fact that Willock got took off was disappointing, because if you're going to take anyone off at that point, it had to be Mkhitaryan for me, because Willock just offers so much more to the team than a lot of our other midfielders, in my opinion. I was delighted to see his name starting, because players have to be picked on form and not on their name and pay packet. And that's been going on far too long for Arsenal, and we need to pick players that suit the style of play and who are, like I said, more on form than the other players. And Willock has been more on form than anyone. I totally agree with what you said, Alex, about Martinelli. I actually believe that he's the most exciting for me in lots of ways this pre-season, because that run that he did against Fiorentina in pre-season, I'm sure you all saw it, where he picked the ball up and just literally sprinted the length of the pitch and just put it wide. That to me was a young Cristiano Ronaldo when he was at Man United. You know, he had no end product. He literally, it's hard to remember now, but people were absolutely slating Ronaldo when he started. He had all the potential, the pace to burn, all the skill, but he had no end products. He used to put it in Rose Ed or whatever, or his crosses weren't meeting their targets, or he crossed it straight out the pitch. But he's at least Martinelli. He's got one goal under his belt at the beginning of the season, which I think is actually a much more decent finish than he got credit for. But he's not missing the target by much. And I tell you what, as soon as he hits that target, I can see a very, very special player there. Yeah. So with him, Willock, Nelson had a good game today. I think a lot has to be said for Chambers. He had a great game as far as I was concerned as well. He's got a lot of people on his back, and I think he, under a lot of pressure, performed really well. But I tell you what goes under the radar with the summer that we had, and that is the change in mentality that these new players bring with them. Because not only is David Luiz a good signing for the next season or two because of his experience, but what is really important with David Luiz is that he's a born winner, and he will not accept anything other than winning. And that mentality is going to rub off on the rest of the players. And you can see it with just in glimpses, and I may be reading a bit too much of it into it from today, but I think that Andy Maitland-Niles' performance could be a lot down to Pepe joining the club as well, because he's going to be playing down the same side as Pepe.
Yeah.
And I think that it's instantly on the training pitch will raise the other players' games, because he will not want to be seen as a substandard player by Pepe. He's going to want to make sure he raises his game. And I think the same probably has gone with Chambers in pre-season. Although he hasn't had very long with David Luiz, I'll tell you what, I bet it's raised his game immediately. He will want to stay in that team for a start, and he will want to be seen to be a good player alongside David Luiz when he starts as well. And I think the mentality we've had in the club for so many years now, the comfortable mentality, the lack of urgency within the team, that is the biggest thing that has to change. And that's why it disappoints me a little bit when we still start with players like Mkhitaryan, who's I'm not slagging off Mkhitaryan, but he's one of the old guard of the old regime that needs to be moved on, because we need a whole new mentality throughout the club. And that's why I was disappointed when Willett got taken off and not him. But like I say, I'm not going to be criticising the performance too much today, but for me, a midfield which includes Willett, Ceballos, and Torreira when he's back as well would offer everything for as far as I was concerned. I spent a lot of time thinking about it. It's so much energy, so much pace, and I will say a proper enthusiasm to bring to the game. I think it'd be we've got a lot to look forward to. I'm very, very excited about the
future. The near future is bright. Alex, just to add on to that, and you can add in your own comments as well, but I have a question for you. Do you think that Mkhitaryan sees the writing on the wall with, and he's the same product that we've had for years? Henrik Mkhitaryan.
I want to quickly go back just to a couple of points that Andrew said before I go into about Mkhitaryan. It's not an unfair comparison when you look at Man City, and that is the kind of blueprint that we want. That we want players competing for their places.
Yes.
Like you said, Andrew, there's so many years where we have players being so complacent, knowing that their names are going to be secured, going to be guaranteed on the squad sheet there. But now we've got players fighting for their positions, and that's what we've always wanted. That's one thing. In regards to the Mkhitaryan situation, I'm just thinking, do we give Mkhitaryan a hard time because we know he's on £200,000 a week? Is that the main reason why we give him? Well, I give him a hard time.
I don't think so. I think if performance is coming to it as well.
Yeah, for me, I look at the players on the pitch and I don't see 300,000 above the player or 50,000 above the player. It's down to the performance, what you see on the field. For me, right, Andrew?
I honestly think that I was listening to the Bergkamp Wonderland podcast from a couple of days ago, and Danny made a really good point. He said he's a decent player with some things to offer, but he's very inconsistent, as we all know. But if you're going to play him in the middle as a number 10, because he ain't a winger. You know, the best thing out of him would be to play him in the middle, if at all. So he's played out of position, unfortunately, which doesn't help him. But we've got so much competition in that area now; it's frightening, and I don't see him being a starter. I don't see him being one of our best 11 players.
No.
So we've got to stop people being picked on reputation, and that's it. Really, we've got to play people that are going to adapt to our style and really move the club forward mentality-wise.
But then that's down to Unai Emery, because I mean, when he came into the club, and Sanchez went the other way. Although I think we just about got the better deal. because Sanchez went over
Oh,
to Brazil.
definitely, yeah.
He's done absolutely nothing. But you're right. I think Mkhitaryan needs to be moved on. I know he's been played in the wrong position, but even when I see him on the ball, like giving away the ball so easily, not really tracking. Again, I don't want to turn to a Mkhitaryan bashing session, but
no, not at all. I don't want to be negative today, but
yeah, absolutely. But I think the writing's on the wall. I think he does need to be moved on.
Right. So Andrew, go ahead. We'll change the tone and we'll say what ticked the boxes for you today, Andrew.
I'll go on to that in just 1 second. I need to get the one last bit of negativity out of the way before I move on to the positivity. And the same thing really has to be said about Xhaka, because as soon as David Luiz is in the team, he's redundant, because Xhaka is a quarterback. He's fantastic at passing, but mentally he's far too slow. He doesn't know what's going on around him, and he thinks he's got all the time in the world to look around and find the right path in lots of cases, but he ain't got that time in the Premier League, unfortunately. He's looked half decent in pre-season because he's had the time, because there's not that intensity in the matches, but in the Premier League, he ain't got the time to do what he needs to do, unfortunately. And David Luiz is a better passer than him. Jack is a brilliant passer of the ball, but David Luiz is even better, I think. And as soon as he comes into the team, and I'm afraid Jack is redundant as well. But anyway, positivity is Nelson had. I think he had a lot of good points today. I think he's very positive. And what we've missed for so long is people that just pick the ball up and run at players. And no matter who you are in the world, whether you're Virgil van Dijk or the Newcastle centre backs today, you don't like people running at you. You don't like pace. Pace is just
defenders hate pace,
and we've got players that can really dribble and take players on now, and I'm really, really pleased about that. And Ceballos, I've seen on Twitter people going, berating Ceballos, and why? He's had 20 minutes in his debut in the Premier League, and he's talking about negative things. He lost the ball, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Give the fella a break. Seriously, he's what we've been crying out for as well. I'm really excited to see him. I simply cannot wait till Bellerin and Tierney are back, because they are going to take the league by storm and totally be transformative for our team.
Yeah.
People don't realise what before the end of last season, and I still stand by it now. I said that Tierney's going to be our most important signing, and he really will be. I believe. I really do believe that, because if you can imagine having those two on the wings, Bellerin and Tierney, with their pace and their
rubbing my hands.
Add to that, David Luiz pinging the ball out 60 yards to either left wing, right wing, or straight to the forwards, and then the passionate sort of pacey midfielders that we've got now to choose from.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then by the way, we've got those three forwards in the team as well: Lacazette, Aubameyang, and Pepe. Jesus Christ, we're going to be. Seriously, if we tick and the most important thing is for Emery to be positive this season and actually be brave and not don't care too much about what the opposition is going to do to us. Make sure that they are worried about playing us and force our game on them. Because if Unai Emery will do that, the sky's the limit, honestly. I don't know whether you want me to do it now or a bit later, but I honestly think we could potentially, if all these things fall into place, be threatening for definitely threatening Liverpool for second place. And I don't think that's beyond the realms of possibility, and I can explain that whenever you want to.
Yep, I'm kind of allowing myself to think the same way, Andrew. Alex, what do you think?
Well, going to your question about the positive out of the game, for me was the clean sheet. We only had one clean sheet away from home, and we've already matched that. The other positive was that Aubameyang, give him half a chance.
Yep, clinical.
Definitely, he'll put the goal away. Knowing fully well we didn't have Lacazette. The other guys, the new players, came on in the second half, and we still eked out a win with a clean sheet. That is a massive. That's a good start. That's a good platform for Arsenal to start. And I remember again in the days of George Graham, 1-0 to the Arsenal, 1-0 to the Arsenal. So yeah, that's for me. That's
I miss saying that.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Definitely.
Listen, can the positivity continue? Can the positivity continue? Let's peek ahead for a couple of weeks.
That's down to Emery, I think. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
It's all down to Emery because I think we've got the players to be positive now.
Yeah.
So he can't overthink things and just let players go out and play their games, to be honest. Put them in the right positions on the park and let them do what they need to do. Because if we go into stadiums across the country with our pumped out and trying to force our game on the opposition, and I think we're going to spank some arses this season if we're allowed to.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's down to the manager. So it'd be interesting to see how he goes over the next few weeks, really, and what kind of formations he puts out. But I just do not want to start seeing this worry about other teams visiting us, or when we visit them, and trying to set up defensively, because we're not a defensive team. We ain't like that. So I really don't want to see that. I want to just see us attack, keep the ball as far away from our goal as possible, because that's what we need to do, and really press teams.
So, Alex, to peer ahead, if the first indication of that will be away to Liverpool, let's say 2 games from now, we'll get a real indication of Emery will go for it or not, Alex.
Yeah, I think we'll fight fire with fire, because as Andrew rightly says, the defense is not our strongest point. So fight fire with fire. Our strength is in our attack, our midfielders. We've got the wingers in Pepe, Ceballos in the middle, Aubameyang and Lacazette. So if you want a real test for Emery's thoughts and his mentality, again, I think he will go for all guns blazing. Pardon the pun there, but no, I'm optimistic this season. You've got to remember that last season we just missed top 4, 1 point.
Yeah,
and we got to Europa League Cup final with these players. So we've got an upgrade on the squad now, and I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic we'll reach, maybe for me, third. We'll reach third for this season. I'm absolutely optimistic. Buzzing.
Well, as you're talking about Liverpool, I'll just very briefly explain my thoughts about that. I mean, what a shame that Tierney and Bellerin ain't going to be fit for that game. I mean, imagine that against their fullbacks. That'd be something to see, wouldn't it? Really, but Liverpool are obviously going to have a really good season again. Let's face it, because I love Klopp. I think he's a great. People slate him, but I love the guy. I think he's fantastic. But can you honestly see them having a season where they're going to get 97 points again and only lose 1 game?
No.
Well, quite conceivably, right? They could have a fantastic season and finish on 87 points, which is still, like I said, it's a great season finishing on 87 points, 10 points less than they got last season. That fair?
Yeah.
I would say that is fair, yes.
So from the points differential from last season, I think we were 24, 25 points behind them, if I'm right.
Liverpool were about 97 points, and we finished on 70.
So 25 points different, yeah?
At least 25.
Yeah, about 20.
So if they conceivably drop 10 points from last season, can you not honestly see us getting an extra 5 wins across the season, like from what we did last year? The stupid games that we lost and threw away. Do you think that's beyond the realms of possibility, or converting some of the draws into wins that we had last season?
Well, I mean, we won't concede 50 goals this year. We might concede around 40, and we're going to score a few more goals too, I would believe.
Even now we've got Tierney. Do you think we'll concede that amount of goals, Ray?
Yeah, I think we conceded 51. We'll probably concede 10 less than that.
Well, I'll be happy with that, because we're going to score more goals than last season as well, and we weren't too shabby at that last season.
Agreed.
The squad changes that we've got, I think it's quite conceivable that we could make up 15 points. I genuinely feel that. I've got no reason to think that we're not going to be 15 points better off than we were last season. But even if we're not, we're going to be a lot closer to Liverpool than we were last season. And I'm telling you that it could quite easily be a fight for second based on that. Because 25 points, remember, is what Liverpool made up from the season before. They were 25 points behind Man City the season before. And they did it. And I'm not saying that we are going to do it. I'm just saying it's a possibility. And I'm feeling very positive that we can do it. But even if we're not, I cannot see another way we're not going to be challenging for third. I don't think we should be thinking, are we going to squeeze into the top four? I really don't.
Alex, you want to jump in there, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, what I was going to say is, again, I don't like to look back on what happened last season, but when you look at the games away from home, and even the last game, Ray, you remember, at the Emirates, Brighton, there's just the wrong mentality. I think, as Andrew says, I can't see us being worse off this season. With the upgrade in the squad we have, we can make a push. For me, maximum third position. Again, there are no easy games in the Premiership.
Listen, both of you, I said something in my hearing. No, I'm super optimistic. So I said, Manchester City are defending champions. They're going to have pressure. Liverpool are European champions. They're going to have pressure every game. So why can't we sneak in amongst that bunch and make it competitive for a long way this season?
Well, it's a cliche. If Leicester did it, remember Leicester? That's the old cliche.
Yeah.
Don't remind us.
Do you know what? We were 66-1 by Sky Bet at the beginning of the season to win the league, and Man United last year, I think I'm right in saying they were 14-1 to win the league, and they jumped up to 42-1 or something like that at the beginning of the season. And I think that was generous for them, to be perfectly honest. I mean, they've got a bad squad now. I don't know how it finished. I don't know what their match finished like. They were 1-0 up last time I heard today.
That's what I heard as well. Yeah.
I don't know what the final score was between them and Chelsea, but Chelsea, I mean, I genuinely think they're going to be out of the top four this season, and with their strikers, they've just got nothing up front. I mean, they've got Tammy Wynette playing up front for them, so I can't see them doing it this season. I can't see Man United doing it this season. And what really annoys me is that every single media outlet you hear when you're listening to podcasts or the radio, whatever, they all, bar none, have got Tottenham to finish third. And I can't. Their new signings might turn out to be incredible and completely rip up the Premier League this season, but I can't see them making that much of a difference, transformative wise, to make them a lot stronger. Their squad has been so stale for so long, and if like someone said, if you use the same tools over and over again, you're going to get the same result. And their squad is stale. And Harry Kane has got his ankles are like the 85-year-old Jack Wilshere. He's going to be going around on a Zimmer frame before too long. So I can't see them being third, if I'm honest. They might get fourth.
To be honest, Andrew, I mean, I've got no problems with the media loving them lot down the road, because we don't want to put too much pressure on ourselves. We don't want the media to say, oh, you know what, now Arsenal have got an upgrade in their squad. They are going to be real contenders to be in the top four. I prefer us to be under the radar.
Under the radar,
concentrate on doing the things that we have to do. If they want to talk about the likes of Liverpool, Man City and Tottenham, then let them do it.
And Man United even. Man United fans are going to be gassed now after they beat Chelsea 3-0. So we have an optimistic Man United supporter here. So
I thought I saw. Oh, dear.
Well, in regards to all the other cup competitions, and bear with me on this one. I think, because I've just seen a comment come up about Europa League champions, and my thoughts on that is, and it ain't going to happen, but this is the way I would love it to happen. I would really like Steve Bold to take the under-23s and the younger players from the main squad to play all the Europa League games and leave all the first team regulars and Unai Emery behind every Thursday. That's what I would love. I think that would be a win-win situation, because all our youngsters would be getting valuable competitive games in Europe. Yeah. And if we Unai Emery will be able to prepare for the Sunday relaxing, not flying to the other side of the world with the main players. And if we went out of the Europa League this season, I really would not care less, if I'm honest, because I think the Premier League is there to be taking, not winning the Premier League clearly, but top four and getting Euro and Champions League qualification is there this season. And I mean, I just get so. If we get to like the quarters, semis, great. You know, everyone will want to win it, and of course I want to win a European competition. I'm not being stupid, but what is so important is to get into the Champions League next season, and I really think we should do it the easier way, by the Premier League, because
by the Premier League,
competition.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a long.
I don't want to be in it anymore. I don't want to be in the Europa League anymore. I hate it. I'm sorry, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, we are tired of the Europa League, and you know, we're gassed. We're gassed about these things, but we can't really, Alex. We can't really look at the league until about 4 games in. You know, we got supporters on here from different teams, getting gassed about one result. So, put some caution, tap the brakes there a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine if it went the other way. Imagine if we lost. People have been gasping, "Oh my goodness, Unai Emery, you know, he needs to be sacked." It's a good foundation. We've got the 3 points, which is more important than the performance. Now we can, you know, get back, regroup, get Lacazette back into full training, and go again against is it Burnley? Is it the next game, home game?
Burnley next game, the home game.
Yeah. So,
Not taking anything for granted, but we want a home win there.
Absolutely.
We need to start the new signings in that game, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think we've seen Pepe. He saw the pace of the Premier League today, and he might have learned a few things even coming on the pitch today, Andrew.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And absolutely pissing it down in the northeast. Not going to get much more of a better introduction.
Maybe
really.
a Sacre Bleu.
Yes, I know. But no, I mean, Lille is. I think I'm right in saying it's actually fairly close to the coast of France, which I don't think the weather's going to be too much different from where he was. But no, nothing can be taken from today with a 20-minute cameo at the end of the match. He's got to run out, and he's basically got to get used to the players that are around him and know what runs they're going to be making and so on. Which and like I said earlier about Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I think he had a good game today. I really do. And he did a little bit of a cheeky professional foul at one point and got away with it completely totaled someone.
We want to see that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Exactly.
I loved it. No, absolutely loved seeing that. But I tell you what, his burst of pace for the goal was brilliant. You know, he cross he made for the goal. You know, you can't argue with that. And I think that, like I said earlier, getting Pepe does that sort of thing to other players around the squad. You know, it makes them up their game because we've got better players around him now, and that's going to have an effect on him. Yeah. But it was nice to see him in the shirt today. He really was. But we can't take anything out of his performance. Can't take anything really out of Ceballos' performance today. But at least they got stretched the legs and they got a little bit more used to the squad around them.
Yeah.
Alex, it's going to take a few weeks for Pepe and Aubameyang to get that understanding.
Yeah. I know they played against each other, didn't they, in the French league when they were Lacazette was at Lyon. But I'm excited, you know, for the strikers, Pepe, and like you said before, I'm very, very optimistic for this season, you know. But like Andrew said, like Pepe up in the northeast with the wind blowing and that rain there, he must have.
You do it in a wet day up northeast.
But no, I'm optimistic. I'm really optimistic. By the way, Ray, what was your prediction for the game?
So my prediction was 2-1.
2-1.
And Andrew's involved in the predictions as well, and I'm happy to report that we are all on 1 point. We all got the result correct, but not the correct score line. So we're all on 1 point.
3-0. I didn't know we had so many flipping players but at least I got the nil right. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I'll happily I'll be happy to be incorrect every week if we get a clean sheet every week. You know,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
definitely. And just to let anyone know, if they're watching on playback or live, join in the predicted scoreline challenge between Arsenal Fan Circle and Cannon Fodder TV, and we're going to do it as a team. It's Alex and Ralph against myself and Mahir, and then we'll do it as an individual league program for all of the subscribers on both channels.
Get involved. Get involved.
Get involved.
London Old School. Yes.
There you go.
Should Pepe start against Burnley?
Yes.
Yes.
Is United winning the league?
No. Winning the league, but apart from that.
Next question.
Tell Barry what it's like to be an Arsenal supporter.
Fantastic. The best
Brilliant.
in the world.
Things are good, Barry. Come on over.
You can't buy
Come on
clothes.
over. Join the dark side.
The red and white side. Guys, I'm gonna have to take my leave, unfortunately. Like I said, it's been a long day. But Ray, thanks for having me back on Arsenal Fan Circle. And Andrew, I'll follow you on your Twitter account, man. Definitely.
Definitely, mate. Yes. Yeah, we'll catch up with each other.
Nice one. Guys, have a good evening, and I'll see you very, very soon, Ray. Take care.
Thanks,
man.
Alex. Today was a good day, Alex.
Absolutely.
Okay, Andrew. Do you think we can go back in for Upper Meccano in January? It's crispy.
Yeah,
Asking.
I don't know about January, if I'm honest. I think next summer's more likely.
Next summer.
I think David Luiz was bought for the year at least, maybe 2, to help bring him through. Maybe after we get obviously Saliba, and possibly if we get Upper Meccano, I think that'd be great to have David Luiz along, for them to learn from as well, because he gets he gets a lot of unfair stick. People, I think, saw David Luiz at the beginning of his career, and he made a few high-profile errors. But I don't know if a single central defender who doesn't make errors. Everyone will at some points, just some make than others. But I think over the last 2 or 3 years, he's been pretty solid in his latter part of his career. He's been a lot stronger. I credit this to Stilberto, Tim Stillman. He knows a lot about South American football, as you know. He said, if anyone can say, show me any high-profile errors that he's made over the last 2 or 3 years, I'd like to see them, because I can't think of any. And he had a good, solid season last year, David Silva. And like I say, his ability on the ball and be able to bring the ball out, but his passing is second to none. And again, Tim Stillman said he's probably the best passer, central defender who he's the best passer probably in world football. There are none better. And how can we not be excited to see him in an Arsenal shirt? I definitely am. I've always liked that David Luiz. I've always liked him because he plays with a smile on his face. He enjoys playing football, and it's infectious. And his will to win is infectious. And I can't wait to see what difference he brings to the team.
Andrew, he's
£8 in all. It's absolutely amazing.
He's the kind of player I hated Arsenal to go up against. I hated to play against that player. But now he's on our team, so we got to embrace that. Do you think he's just covered for 1 year till Saliba comes in?
I don't. 2 years, I'd say, because I'm not sure that Saliba's going to go immediately into the team. People are just assuming we're going to get him back, and he'll go immediately into the team. But he's still only going to be 19, so he's going to have to be eased in to the team. And I think having David Luiz next to him potentially, or I don't know about Socrates, maybe obviously playing next to him as well, but he's going to have to learn the league and be eased in a bit gently. I don't think he's going to be starting every single game next year, but I'm absolutely amazed and delighted to get him, because he looks like the real deal. He looks
for the future.
Like, he could be potentially a world-class central defender, but he's still very, very young, and time will tell, obviously. And I just hope to God he don't get badly injured this year, and we get a fully fit Saliba next year, because I'm very, very happy that we made that purchase. Yes, it's a lot of money. Yes, it's a bit of a gamble, but what signing isn't a gamble? But a lot of teams were after that kid. A lot of teams across the world were after that kid, and he came to Arsenal, and absolutely delighted about it. But as regards Upamecano, I can't. I mean, I think I'm right in saying he's only 20 as well. Is that right?
Yeah, very young, very, very young.
I mean, he's going to get a lot more benefit from having another year in Germany as well. Get that under his belt. But I can quite conceivably believe that behind the scenes, Don Raoul would have been having a word and trying to maybe secure his services for next summer already. If not him, maybe another absolute quality centre back. He's not going to leave it. I can well believe that he's doing something behind the scenes as we speak, really. But it's notoriously difficult to get people in January. We have obviously done that in the past. I can't see it this January, but we'll see how we get on.
No, traditionally it's difficult to get your targets in January, especially what we're going to be looking for is a quality centre back. We'll probably wait till the next real window in the summertime.
We're bringing down the average age of the squad quite dramatically, and I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, you're bringing down the age and you're bringing down the wage structure as well. So these younger players are on lower starting wages as they get better and achieve more things and age more and mature more. They can get improved contracts.
Yeah, well, Monreal's had a good season. He had a good game today, I think, as well. But he generally does that the last couple of seasons. He starts off the season really, really well, but he just tires, which is understandable at his age. He's done an awful lot of work over his career up and down that wing, so from left back. So we can't rely on him for the whole season. But it looks like he's going to be solid until Tierney is fit and ready to come into the team. So that's positive as well. Because of what he's been a good servant. I do like Monreal, but he just can't do the full season anymore. He's just haven't got it, unfortunately.
So we have Barry BTV talking about Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire may be the finished article, but he's expensive, and we've bought potential in Saliba for 50 million less.
I mean, what can you say about the price that you've paid?
They paid the Premier League premium.
Exactly, yeah, and they desperately needed a central defender. They were quoted that price at the beginning of the window, and they got him at the end of the window. And obviously, I presume that they were hoping that they could either get someone else cheap, similar sort of defender, cheaper or whatever, or drive the price down eventually. But Leicester, why would they drive the price down? Allow the price to be driven down because they didn't have to sell him. But they stuck to their guns and they got a good deal. But at the end of the day, I bet a lot of the Man United fans just wish that if they're going to pay that price, they'd done it at the beginning of the window so we could settle in a bit more and a bit quicker. But they've got a decent defender. Don't get me wrong, but the price is massive. But if they were willing to pay it, they're willing to pay it. And he's strengthened their defence, and you can't say much more than that. But Wan-Bissaka, again, 50 million is a Premier League premium. He's going to be a very good player, but he's a very good defender. I'm not sure about, he's going to offer a lot in attacking sense down the from right back. I think he's a very good young defender, and that's what they need, obviously, to stop the goals going in. But I don't think he's going to offer a lot going forward. He's not like a Robertson or hopefully like Tierney when he settled into our team, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's not like that, but he's probably one of the best young defenders. So they've got a much better defence than they had last year, put it that way. But so have we now, thankfully. We've got a much better team than we had last year. I think he's much more transformative than we think. Getting David Luiz in the team. Yeah,
getting David Luiz in the team and adding Tierney, it's improving our mentality in the team.
Yeah, and Neville Chambers as well. Chambers is going to surprise a few people, I think, with his performances. don't people seem to forgotten over the close season. Although he's played really well, I think. So when I saw him at the Emirates Cup, he was playing like just about 20 yards away from me. From where I was sitting, and I watched a lot of Chambers, and he really impressed me. But he played all of last season in midfield for Fulham with some lesser quality players, as it showed, because the season that they had. But he was their player of the season, but from midfield. So he's going to take a bit of a while to settle back into playing centre back, and people need to realise that. But so far, so good as far as I'm concerned. He's playing his socks off, playing for his place, and that's all you can ask for. For your play, for your players to be doing that. So I'm really happy with him at the moment.
Yeah, the centre back situation. Who's going to be pairing up with Socrates is a tricky question to answer.
Well, depending, and it all depends on how Rob Holding comes back into the team, because we all know that he's a good player, young player again still, which is great, but he looks the real deal. If he comes back and he's in really good form, then it's who's going to be paired with him, not Socrates. It's who's going to be paired with Rob Holding.
Yeah.
Is it going to be David Luiz, or is it going to be Socrates? And I just hope, especially for this season, David Luiz gets more of a shout because of what he can offer the team. Now, I had a real go at Socrates in pre-season. You probably saw, mate. I don't know, maybe you saw on Twitter. I just lost it. Really.
I think that was validated. I was at that game, and you take a yellow card in a game. You don't
really
foul.
infuriating.
2 minutes later, you don't foul like that. You got to take the temperature of the game and temperature of the referee and how he's officiating the game.
He gets away with a lot. He makes similar mistakes to what Mustafi gets crucified for, unfortunately. But Socrates gets away with it because he's just that little bit more aggressive, and the fans like him more. And I'm not sitting here and saying I don't like Socrates. He's got a lot of good mentality, and he's a good defender, but he is liable to make mistakes like that. Well, they're not even really mistakes. You can't call that a mistake. He did it on purpose. What he did against was it Real Madrid?
Yeah.
So you can't call that a mistake. He
walks that line, Andrew.
Sorry?
He walks that line.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Aggressive.
And people are saying, "Oh, I'm not sure about David Luiz because he's got a rick in him." Well, I'm sorry, but so is Socrates, and so is Mustafi, as we know. I mean, but I'd rather have someone that's great on the ball who can pass the ball 60 yards to create a goal-scoring opportunity in the team, who's liable to make the odd mistake, than someone that doesn't do that but is liable to make a mistake. So I'd rather have someone that's a bit more creative and better on the ball than a good defender who's not got those skills. So people will say, because there's a lot to weigh up to it between Socrates and David Luiz, but David Luiz offers more to the team than Socrates does because he's still a good defender.
Yeah,
both make mistakes potentially, but he's better on the ball and he's better passer. So I'd have David Luiz and Rob Holding as my central defensive pairing personally.
You can see that we're trying to play the ball out from the back, but we're still not quite there, Andrew.
Yeah, and he will be able to guide the rest of the players around him to do that, won't he? So Socrates isn't that kind of player, is he? So if there's going to be a casualty, it ain't going to be who's going to be teamed up with Socrates as far as I'm concerned. Because when he's fit, I'm going to say who's going to be teamed up with Rob Holding. I think that's the way it's going to go. He's the future.
Right. And in the transfer window, as London Old School said, we've definitely upgraded on Koscielny leaving with Luiz.
Well, Koscielny was a fantastic player and a servant for the team. But when you consider that there's only a year between Koscielny and David Luiz, age-wise, they're literally like chalk and cheese. I mean, Koscielny's body is how long would it have held out?
Kilos.
His body is knackered, and David Luiz has got the body and the fitness of probably someone who's mid to late 20s. A few years younger than he is. He's just very athletic, and he's
a little bit more intimidating looking as well.
Well, he's got fantastic hair. He's into The Simpsons, and he matches Guendouzi. So what more can you ask for?
Yeah,
the
brothers are back together.
A lot of feng shui on the pitch, with the fact that they're matching. But a commentator's nightmare, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. So reason to look forward with Burnley next weekend.
Yeah, I just touched on Guendouzi earlier, just then, and one thing I haven't mentioned is him, and I absolutely love watching him play. He's going to be a truly world-class midfielder, I think, but he frustrates me a lot as well because he's too casual. If he could add some urgency to his game, and a lot more pressing and speed up his passing, he will truly be a world-class player because and pass it more forward. He still passes it sideways too much and backwards too much for my liking, because he's got more to him than that. He doesn't have to do that, but he does. And I watched him today in the match, and he very, very, very rarely breaks into a sprint. He's just casually jogging around, and I noticed on more than one occasion today when a player from the opposition, a Newcastle player, sort of was running past him towards the box, and he didn't speed up. He didn't try and track him or press him for the ball, try and tackle him. He just carried on, sort of casually jogging. And I'm not slaughtering him for it, but that does my head in a bit with him. But if he could iron that out, add a lot more urgency to his game, and be a little bit more positive with his possession, then the world's his oyster, to be honest, because he's a fantastic player. I said earlier about my preferred midfield trio, and it's really hard because it didn't include Guendouzi, but I love him. I love him as a player. Just to clarify what it was, I said I really love the midfield trio: Willock, Torreira, and Ceballos. I think that would offer us so much in every area that we need in our midfield with regards to the sort of defensive responsibilities with Torreira and Willock. Willock tracks back, pace, raw energy and enthusiasm. And obviously quality as well. But Willock is the more I see Willock, the more I think that in a season, maybe not next season, the season after, when he's got a couple of years Premier League experience under his belt, I genuinely think we could have found our replacement for Vieira and Gilberto after all these years. I think he could offer that. He's potentially still growing, but he's still a unit. He's much taller than I thought he was when I saw him at the Emirates Cup. He's got no fear. He could be playing against world-class players like he did in pre-season and think, whatever, he's just another footballer I'm up against today. And his confidence and his ability with running with the ball and his pace, he's so quick as well, dribbling with the ball. He could be a truly great box-to-box player in a couple of years' time. I think we need to play him. I really do think we need to play him at the moment and give him as much experience as possible.
Yeah, I think, Andrew, he needs that fluidity in the game, getting a number of games together, because I saw he had an exchange with John Joe Shelby, and I think Shelby was trying to intimidate him a little bit early on, and it was Shelby who had that shot that hit the post as well.
So John Joe Shelby looks like he's from the Adams family. You're probably used to scaring a few players, but I don't think he was scared from him, was he? He's just like, whatever, mate. He's mature beyond his years at the moment, but so God only knows how good he's going to be when he gets a bit more experience under his belt. I'm really excited to see that, and I say we've got a lot to look forward to with the Burnley game. I say most of everything is going to be down to Emery now. he's got to perform this season. Everyone knows that because he's been back to the hilt.
He's been back to the hilt, and
there's no excuses for him.
Yeah,
So,
and he knows he has this one last season before he can get his contract extended.
Yeah, exactly, and he's got to be bold and brave and go for it this year because this potential of the squad that we've got now is very, very high, and if he doesn't achieve what we need to achieve, then he's going to be in trouble. And I think Christmas is the time when we need to sort of, well, I'm sure as a group of fans, it'll be assessed on a game-by-game basis as well on Twitter, as we all know. But,
well, we know from the fixtures, Andrew, Christmas is going to be a very difficult month for us. That December month is going to be very, very difficult.
Well, I'm choosing to think that December is going to be a very tough month for all of our opponents. That's the way I want to look at it, because I don't want to think like that anymore.
Right.
I want to make. I want to think that. Well, tough luck for everyone that's going to come.
They've got to face us. Yeah,
exactly. Why should we be in that mentality anymore? We should.
I like that.
Really, I shouldn't. I don't want to look at the fixtures and think, "Oh, that's a tough game. Oh, that's a tough game." I want to think that it's going to be a tough game for all our opponents because we're going to go there and blitz them, and that's what it was like when, back
in the day.
We weren't scared of our opponents who we were playing them next to. Quite often during our prime years in the Invincibles and the seasons around that, I didn't even know who we were playing at the weekend because I didn't care.
It's just next team up.
Yeah.
But the next game, Andrew, is Burnley, and last year Ozil was featured in that Burnley game. We had a 3-1 win. London Old School's asking the question, where do you think Ozil features in the team this season? More of a diminished role, do you see?
Yeah, all in all honesty.
I see that too.
I don't see him getting into our best 11 at the moment. And it's a great problem to have. Let's face it, it's a very much of a first world problem that we've got at the moment with the players and who's going to be left out. It's going to be some hard decisions because I don't want to see Ainsley Maitland-Niles particularly not in the team. But as soon as Bellerin comes back and he's fit, there's no place for him in the team. And because I've seen a few questions, would you move Ainsley Maitland-Niles into midfield when Bellerin's back as a defensive midfielder? Well, no, because we've got better options, unfortunately, in midfield at the moment. And it's really horrible to say because he's an academy player again. But we don't need a defensive midfielder in Ainsley Maitland-Niles if we've got Torreira.
Could he play some games on the wing, the right wing? Cup games?
Ahead of Pepe?
Yeah, cup games.
Cup games, definitely cup games. Because, like I said earlier, I want our youngsters to play all of our cup games, including the Europa League, throughout until the latter stages if we stay in it. And if we go out of those cup games, I really don't give a monkeys because we definitely need to prioritise the Premier League this year. I just think that's a given after last year, and I don't want to overplay the regular first team starters. So we need to play the youth, but there's a lot of players that are going to have to miss out, and unfortunately, like I said to you earlier, the old regime needs to be swept out of the club with that mentality. Mm-hmm. Who's got the right to choose what away games they go and play? There's Mesut Ozil got the right to do that. You see, he hasn't, unfortunately. And we need players that have got the right mentality. And Mesut Ozil is an incredible footballer on his day. We all know that. But unfortunately, his day doesn't come around often enough anymore. And we need to inject the team with youth and the right attitude and pace. We need to have pace. We need legs in the midfield. And we've got that with Willock, Torreira and Ceballos, or Guendouzi as well. And they offer so much more to the team than the occasional flash of brilliance from Mesut Ozil.
And competition is a good thing for every position, Andrew.
Yeah, of course it is. Definitely.
And
Yeah.
so
Now.
Emery is going to get the best out of the squad with the competition for places. Not even Lacazette, Aubameyang, and Pepe will not play every game together.
No, I think that
Fantastic problem to have.
definitely, yeah, because we need to give minutes as well to Nelson, excuse me, to Smith Rowe when he's available as well. He looks extremely promising. Saka needs to get minutes. They're not going to be starting in the Premier League, but we need to play them in all of the cup games. We need to. I mean, we've even got, Zach Medley. He's been promoted to the first team squad. There's not a chance at the moment he's ready to play in the Premier League. But Carabao Cup, FA Cup, the early rounds of the Europa League, I'd give him a run out for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how long it's going to be before Rob Holding is actually fully fit, because obviously he's played 60 minutes recently in an under-23 game, which is really promising.
Yeah.
Didn't suffer any after effects apparently from that run out as well. So maybe 3 or 4 more under-23 games, and he's going to be ready, which is really promising. And in that case, unfortunately, it looks like straight away that Chambers ain't going to be in the first team, even though he's been played very well today. So it's tough being a football manager sometimes when you have to make these decisions, but you've got to do what's best for the team. And if someone has got a bit more quality to their game than a person that's playing at the moment, then unfortunately you've got to do the right thing for the club and the team, and obviously in Emery's case himself, because it's all down to results for him. Yeah. He's under a lot of scrutiny. This is potentially his last season under his contract, because the third season is an option. So he's actually technically out of contract at the end of this season.
Yes.
So if he doesn't do the right things, and if he's not bold in his decision making, then he's going to lose his job. And who can say that's wrong?
Yeah, and I think a lot of the players are not at full fitness yet. It will take a number of games into late August and early September before we see this team really moving well. But I agree with you. We're really excited for Tierney to come into the team, and for Bellerin also to come back, and we're going to see.
What's that? Can you hear that?
That is Mahir. He's joined the pod.
Well, I'm going to have to, unfortunately, sort of take my leave very shortly.
Yeah.
But and I've lost my train of thought. I was just about to say something.
We were talking about the fullbacks, Tierney and Bellerin. We're going to transform the team.
They're going to be totally transformative, and I cannot wait to see them in tandem. And it's only a shame that they're not going to be, the Liverpool away game comes so early in the season, because I'd love to see those two go up against their fullbacks, and that'll be mouth-watering, because I don't think people quite realise how transformative it'll be to have those two in the squad playing on the pitch. Absolutely can't wait. And I honestly think that both him, this whole captaincy issue that everyone's been so flipping drawn into, because I think it's totally overstated. Back in the day, I think it was important when we had Tony Adams and so on were captains. Nowadays, it's just not. I mean, it shows how less important it is by giving 5 players captaincy. It's ridiculous. You used to have a vice captain and a captain. That was it.
Yeah.
So what I said at the end of last season towards who's going to be the next captain, I honestly said we ain't got one in our squad.
No.
And we need to buy one. And then that created all sorts of handkerchiefs up at the mouth and saying you can't buy a captain and put him straight into the team. Yes, you can. I think David, the only ones we've got really are David Luiz and Tierney are the first choice.
Let me ask you that question. Is it helpful, Andrew, to nominate new signings as captains?
Why not? Why
Within the
can't
dress, does it help the dressing room? Does it
I
upset
think?
people?
Well, I think it can be a massive boost, to be perfectly honest, because it's like hiring someone outside of football, hiring someone, a new manager for a sales team, for example, in an office, and they come in and they've got a whole new, they're looking at things through different eyes, and they've got all different ideas and ways of doing things, and I think it can just be refreshing. And anyway, the role of captain has been diminished in lots of ways, but I think that it's the winning mentality and the enthusiasm that they bring to the on the pitch. That's the most important thing, and those two offer that more than any player that we've got on the pitch at the moment, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, Andrew, I know you got to go now. If you got any final points, if you want to make them, or
Yeah,
thanks for your time.
I'll just reiterate what I said a few minutes ago about not looking at the fixture list and thinking, "Oh, that's a hard fixture. That's a hard fixture." Just think about it. Let's as a group, as fans, get into the mentality of, yes, that's a hard fixture for our opponents. You know, we've got a bloody good team now, so don't look at it and think, "Oh God, that's going to be a tough game." It's going to be a good game, yeah, but it's going to be tough for our opponents. That's the mentality we need.
And the other thing as well, Andrew, having a good window like that. Previously, you would think, okay, we're a top 4 team, but now we're thinking maybe why not have a go at the league? Why not try to see what we can do in the league and be contenders?
We've got to stop thinking that we've got to knock timidly on the door of the top 4 and try and think, "Oh, is anyone home? Can we actually come in, please?" And just like think we should be there anyway, and get the positive attitude back that we are. I mean, Arsenal are unrivaled across the world as being a great quality club with class, and we deserve our place at the top table, and we've got to get that mentality back.
It looks like we're headed in the right direction with the win that we just had as well, Andrew. So we're hopeful for this season.
I'm hoping for a real good thumping win to really set the season off in a vein that in a way we could continue. But at the end of the day, we've got a win away with a clean sheet, and it's very positive. There's a lot of positives to be taken out of the game with the youngsters we've got coming through, the new signings that we've made, and the whole new mentality that we've got to have throughout the club, the squad, and I truly wish that we could have it throughout the whole of the fan base as well.
Okay, thanks so much, Andrew, for coming on. We'll definitely have you on again throughout the season.
Yeah, that'd be great. I've enjoyed it, and thanks for inviting me on.
Thanks for coming into the circle.
Have a listen to From Dial Square to Where. Subscribe.
Absolutely. Like. It's refreshing. What you do is refreshing. I like to listen to it from time to time. So if you have some time, folks, check it out. Dial Square to Where.
Yeah, thanks very much. I'll speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon, Andrew. Thanks. So that was Andrew from Dial Square to Where. Hello, Gundit News.
What's happening, Ray? What's happening, all the subscribers?
We've just been sort of talking about, as you know, the Arsenal win. And you know when our channel is growing? You know a real indication of when your channel is growing as an Arsenal channel? You get trolls. You get trolls.
Oh, most definitely.
So check back on the playback. We had a Manchester United troll. He's stoked about a 3 or 4-0 win today. He beat Chelsea.
Whatever. Chelsea.
And they are going to win the league now. Manchester. You heard it here first, everybody. Manchester United are going to win the league. So, London Old School. Manchester United are going to win the league, London Old School and Noe. How are you feeling about today's result? Excellent. We can't understate it enough. This was a win away from home. Sure, we did beat Newcastle last season as well, but we got a clean sheet as well. And we were able to bet in some of our new signings to get acclimated to the Premier League.
Yeah, but not only that, our young showed so much passion. I mean, I personally loved it.
Yeah. Who was the standout for you? Joe Willock, Reese Nelson, Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Player of the game for you?
I would probably say Joe Willock.
Joe Willock. Yeah. He's
Joe
the
Willock.
player we've been crying out for. I
I
think he's
mean,
definitely going to get better as games go through. But we're actually going to close out the show pretty soon. So we'll just have my co-host, my brother, finish up the show here.
I'd just like to say this. 1-0 to the Arsenal. Our youngsters played with passion, and there wasn't we can't fully judge because we didn't see Pepe full game and Ceballos. We just saw little bits here and there. But personally, that away win to start us off is a great start, and it's a great way to see the youngsters integrated into the team. The likes of, I mean, I was shocked at the way Ainsley Maitland now just intercepted that ball. I thought it was Willock with somebody else, and I'm watching on playback and I'm saying, wait a minute, was that, can Ainsley Maitland now actually do that? Adjust to the pace. And a fantastic start. I'm happy.
A great cross. A great cross for Aubameyang and a great take by Aubameyang, and that's a finish. That's $56 million finish.
Although I must say, Mickey played quite poorly.
Yes.
Like really, really poorly. Like I was.
No. He said in his opinion we should have sold Mickey instead of Iwobi, and it's probably just down to the wages. No, we cannot shift Mickey. Maybe by the end of this month, a team could come in for him from the continent.
Yeah, and get rid of some of the deadwood that are still around, because after alterations, often the next transfer window, oh my days. I see there's a comment we have here from our good friend at Arsenal Vlogs. Second half we played good, but I thought Newcastle deserved a draw. But all over, a lot of positive. Joe Willock really played well today. Start him every week. And Socrates played well as well. I think we're waiting for Rob Holding to come back. Bellerin, Tian introduced. We didn't even see Luis today. And we still managed to pull out a hard-earned win.
But shocking players, Chambers, Mkhitaryan, and Xhaka today were the worst players. Please bin those three. I really like Arsenal. We have two Pepe chants. Okay. Now, Luca over at Arsenal Vlogs, you're notorious for being like a Claude. And now he has called you Claude in the past. Are you willing to be a little more optimistic this season, Luca?
Surely you have to be more. Arsenal, Luca, do you still think Arsenal are a 7th or 8th ranked team? Surely not. Like, come on.
So Luca's being optimistic. We're going to be finished in 6th.
Okay.
So, I hear. We respect every supporter's opinion here, even the Manchester United ones.
I've
Given
no
the
respect
Manchester
for
United supporters from airtime, just to show how deluded they are. They think they got Harry Maguire, Slabhead. Slabhead is going to help them. But Luca's down here. This is the pessimistic Arsenal supporter. You and I are up here. We're going to push. I can make a case even for pushing for 2nd place, Mahir.
So can I. Honestly, if we have an honest conversation, even with our subscribers, a lot of people will say we can possibly push for a 2nd place finish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we were missing probably 5 starters from the team.
David Luiz, Ceballos. We know what happened with Ozil and Kolasinac.
Yeah.
It's the reason why they weren't featured. Apparently, there were more incidences. So
Yes, there's some things
Lacazette
going
could
on
come.
that we're not exactly sure about, but it's all related to Turkish gangs, as I understand.
Apparently, I saw that in the comments just now as I came into the chats, and I don't know why, like, people would behave so. It's not even inappropriately. You see again, Lucas saying, "Second, you mad?"
All right, Luca, let's have a little discussion on that right now. Luca, you're at sixth place. We're actually talking about second place. If we finish higher than fourth, we win the argument this season. If we finish lower than fourth, you win the argument this season. And we'll call it quits if we're fourth because you're talking about sixth and we're talking about second. Fourth is right in the middle. We'll remember this, Luca. We'll come back. We'll revisit this in May.
Will definitely be revisited.
Why can we not possibly get second place? Do you think Liverpool and Manchester City are going to walk away with it this season?
I mean, there's an argument for that, but Luca, I thought we were not going to buy anyone 2 weeks ago.
Luca,
Yeah.
this is your opportunity for apologizing now, Luca.
London Old School is 100% right here
London Old School wants to see it as well.
because but like we clearly we respect all our subscribers' opinions, everybody's, because everybody has a different opinion, right?
Yeah.
But you can't argue that our squad isn't becoming trimmed of all the dead wood, and like I'm sure eventually Mkhitaryan will move. There's Ozil to move to MLS, I think maybe in January. There's talks of him replacing Rooney. Hopefully. We can get a right back, for example, for extra cover, or maybe even to make that slot their own while Belanin recovers or, integrates himself back into the squad.
Yeah. Luca is like, we ain't getting top four. We'll finish fifth or sixth, but the reason why we won't get second is because Arsenal didn't strengthen enough defense. We strengthened our defense enough, so we're not going to concede 50 goals, maybe 45, 42. If we would have bought one world-class centre back and right back, then I'd be positive. Okay, Luca, let's revisit this in May. We're going to close out the show here pretty soon. If our new players we could push for second. Enjoy Luca's input. Yeah, and this is what we're all about in the circle, Mayer. We enjoy everybody's input. We're not trying to single anyone out, and we respect your opinion. We've had a Manchester United supporter in here. We didn't block him.
Exactly.
Not saying we won't do that. If you're a fan of an opposing team, you want to have some banter, we absolutely encourage that. But if it gets personal in any way, you will be blocked.
Yes, sir.
And keep it clean.
Yes, sir. Keep it clean.
Relatively clean.
Banter is banter, but there's all due respect to the next person and their opinion, and to not offend anybody,
Yeah. Okay, so we are stoked. We have 3 points. I don't know where we are in the table, but we're not going to look for about 3 or 4 weeks, me personally anyway. Let's look at the predicted score challenge. Everybody predicted the correct result, but did not get the exact score correctly. So we are all on 1 point. No bragging right. We have no bragging right to Cannon Fodder yet, but we'll see how that goes as the season goes on. So continue, everybody, to put your predicted scoreline in for the next game, which is Burnley at home, and you can do that closer to Saturday or Sunday. But then you will have a better idea of what the team's going to be like, and we'll keep an eye on it as the season goes on. Our collaboration with Cannon Fodder TV will continue.
Most definitely.
Richard feels that we'll finish third or fourth. Lucas says if we can sign up a McCann or Umtiti. I don't think we're going to sign anybody in January, just being real with you, Luca. it's very, very difficult to get players in during the January window.
But the question is, if we get players out, we might be able to bring in at least just one, maybe a
Okay.
right back.
That's fair because you'll freed up the salaries. Okay.
Okay.
Right, Luca. Let's judge. Let's judge if Arsenal get 4 points out of Liverpool Spurs. We will finish top four, 100%. Okay, that's going to be a big ask. We're not going to say we're going to finish top four just solely on the point of getting 4 points out of Liverpool and Spurs because they're tough games. But I want to see how we perform. If we can put a decent team out against Liverpool, their goalkeeper got hurt. He probably won't be playing. Alisson probably won't be playing that game.
Alice, apparently they're looking at getting another keeper because Alisson is out, like I say, for quite a few big games for Liverpool. Just on a side note.
They can't bring in another goalkeeper, can they?
I'm not sure. I think it's on. I think you may still be able to do it on a free transfer, if I'm not mistaken, guys. But
Yeah, they'll get
you,
somebody from a Sunday league, a farmers league.
but you can check that out. I read it was a second keeper for Burnley or something. I don't know. I picked on it this morning, and it's just a rumor. Like I say, guys, you can do your research.
And that will, that will be just cover for Mignolet.
For Mignolet.
Seriously, right? Is it Mignolet? He's the second keeper for Liverpool.
Yeah, he should
okay.
be.
Look, we may not beat Liverpool. Well, we won't lose 5-1. That's for sure.
Look, I pray that it isn't a hiding. You know, they call it a hiding, basically.
Yeah, and I think when we talked about the schedule, we did factor maybe 9 points out of 12 for this month, and we'd all be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, me too.
Richard gets the final comment. Newcastle and Burnley game is important because by that time Liverpool and Spurs come along, we won't be so worried. Yeah, we've built up some confidence. Our new signings will start to hit the ground running, and we'll be up to speed. Get some players back as well, Mahir.
I mean, to be honest with you, I can't wait till that time, till we have a full squad of strength. You know, we've got Tierney. Pepe nearly scored today, just by the way. He nearly scored.
Pepe nearly scored.
Yeah, Mkhitaryan just put in a very poor ball.
All right, so listen, you have been watching the first episode of the second season of our channel. Our channel's growing. We picked up a few more subscribers. Want to thank the new subscribers who come on board. We're just a couple of supporters who are enjoying supporting the team, having some banter every week, talking about the game, and we will reconvene next weekend. If you're new to this channel, you're watching this on playback, and you have not subscribed yet, sign up for the first team. Hit the subscriber button, bell notification, and smash the like button, everybody. It does help us in some small way to grow organically. So until next week, thanks, Richard, for coming in. Thank you, Luca. Thanks to the Manchester United banter people coming in as well, trolling us. And thanks to Noe and London Old School. And we are out of here right now. So
Love you guys.
love you all, and we will be back next weekend. Thanks, Luca, for that. Shout out to Arsenal Vlogs. Yes, go check out Arsenal Vlogs as well. And we are out of here. I will talk to you all next week, where we will have beaten Burnley. 2 wins out of 2. Here we go. I'm down for that.